I've been really excited about this topic. It's so important. And so there's a lot of energy coming behind this evening. Let me share my screen so you can see my slides. We are going to talk about who you need to be in order to heal. And if you're just starting this program, I see your fear. I understand your fear. I've been there. There's a lot of self-imposed pressure and worries about how is this program going to be the same or different than all the things that I've already tried in the past. So just know you're not alone in that. I want you to think about an intention for today's training, but then also the program as a whole. The intention being how you want to feel during this process. I always liken it to our healing journey being like a hike. You know, we may or may not make it to the top. We don't know what weather we're going to meet along the way. Anything could happen, but do I want to feel present, in awe of the nature, in love with the people that I'm hiking with, and just there for the process and the journey, trusting it will unfold as it's meant to. If that were the case, if you were able to just focus on how you wanted to feel along the way, what would be possible for you if you learn to move past your fear? That's what we're going to talk about today. You may or may not know this already, but if you have been trying and working so hard to do all the things and you still don't feel better, it's probably rooted in your subconscious mind, because that is the seed that creates your reality. And it creates your reality based on what you believe you are capable of having, not necessarily what you want to have or what you're consciously pursuing. So putting this simply, if your health is not what you want it to be, then we need to get you a new personality. I know that can be triggering, and I'm going to explain what I mean in a moment. But basically, it's this idea of shifting from seeing yourself as a victim of your circumstances, whether that's your symptoms, your health, your genetics, your environment, your resources, and shifting into this mindset of being an empowered creator of your own health with whatever is available to you right now in this moment in time. The reason we start here is because our thoughts create our feelings, which motivate our actions, which result in the reality that we experience. So here's what I'm guessing about your current health programming. So many of us have limiting beliefs and narratives that run automatically through our mind that we're not even consciously aware of. Fear we have about what our body is doing, shame we feel about what we might have done to cause that feels like the truth to us. We learned it somewhere. We didn't make these thoughts up on our own. Likely we learned them in childhood from parents, caregivers, teachers, authority figures. As we grew older and matured, we likely learned it from friends, social media, books that we read, our doctors, the healthcare system in the country that we live. You know, we're told certain things, and we can choose whether to accept or reject that belief. Probably most of the people that we were exposed to who helped create our mindset, our personality, and our belief system were coming from a place of their own limitations, scarcity, sickness, pain, and they projected those onto us. So we took them on as truth. And if we haven't yet questioned them, we've been running on this program in the background for decades. Consciously, you want to heal. I believe that. But unconsciously, something about it feels threatening, because the steps you would have to take, the person that you would have to become to experience physical healing, may be in contradiction to some of the truths that have been programmed in your subconscious. Let me know in the chat if you have had thoughts like these. What if there's something really wrong with me and we just haven't figured it out yet. But if I just need to go to one more doctor or research one more diagnosis or treatment, and then everything will be cured. What about the thought, it's my fault, I'm sick. I did this to myself. I shouldn't have eaten those foods or had those toxic personal products. And now it's been going on for so long, I don't even know if it's reversible. I don't even know if it's possible for me to heal at this point. My situation is worse than everyone else's. You know, when I hear people like Catherine talk, it all sounds really nice, but I think she doesn't understand how different my circumstances are. I've already done all the things to heal, and I don't want to keep doing them anymore. I'm tired of this. Or wellness is expensive. I've already spent tens of thousands of dollars on programs and supplements and practitioners and sessions, and it hasn't fixed me yet. So I resent having to spend any more. I feel guilty that I'm not working and contributing more financially to my household. So, you know, I don't have time to take care of myself. I have to push, 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 go, go, go. I have to work. I have to earn money. I need to be productive, or people will think I'm lazy. I won't be a good person or a valuable member of society or my community. And at the end of the day, I'm not even quite sure why I'm here. I don't know if it'll work for me. I don't know if I can commit to it. This sounds funny. We might laugh a little bit when we hear it out loud, but how many of you, drop it in the chat if this is you, that is the real playing in your head night and day. That is how you move through life with that perspective on your health. You're not alone. What happens when you have thoughts like that? What happens when that is the script running in your brain over and over? You can't help but feel feelings about that. It can't help but produce an emotional response in the body. And usually we feel more fear, we feel more guilt, anger, shame, and grief. From what you know, are those emotional experiences beneficial for healing your physical body and your mental health? No. Because when we feel that way, what are the habits that spring from those emotional states? Are you anxiously Googling in the middle of the night? Are you trying to learn everything you can about GNM and conflict so you can fix yourself? Do you beat yourself up when you cheat and you eat something someone told you you're not supposed to? Do you compare yourself to others? Those that seem to have it so easy on social media. They seem to have just hit the lottery and healed overnight. Do you obsess about every little thing that you eat or every ingredient in the personal products that you use? Do you complain about how it's not fair that everything costs so much to be healthy? Do you feel codependent in your family? Do you feel like you're not enough or deserving as you are, or while you're still having symptoms of healing? So you try and make yourself indispensable by taking care of everybody else's emotional and physical needs at the expense of your own. Do you feel yourself over-explaining your situation to friends, family, even strangers, or on the internet, trying to explain why you're not able to keep up and do everything else that everything everyone else does? Do you view it as a virtue to push through when you really need to rest because you were taught to just keep going? Do you jump around from program to program, waiting for someone else to fix you? These are the habits that we practice when we are in states of fear, guilt, anger, shame, and grief. What are the results of these habits? Do you feel better? Have you healed yourself from doing these things? What are the results? Here's the reality. When we are in that state, we feel like a victim. We don't trust our body sensations. We don't go out to eat at restaurants or social events. We aren't able to be present with our family. We miss out on intimacy with our partner. Friendships may fade away. Sometimes we can rarely leave the house. We're afraid to drive alone. We're constantly exhausted, don't have the energy to cook or clean, and we feel resentful towards doctors and medical professionals and the healthcare system that we feel lied to us in some way. This is not where we want to be. If that is who you have been being, it's not your fault. It is coming from that place of programming that started the moment you were born. Now is the chance to take that radical responsibility that we talked about in the beginning, to expand and grow your mindset, to learn to think, feel, act, and move through life like people that are healthy. We think, we talked about this last time, that people are able to be that way because they have and do all the things they need, but it's not true. We have to move as if first, and then the results that we want come. So what does it look like to have a new personality and be a different version of myself? I want to give you the blueprint. This is like the blueprint to build a house or the pattern to sew a garment. You are going to make it your own. I'm not saying we're all going to be uniform clones of each other moving through life like a cult. I'm saying that there is a blueprint to build a house that stands up and weathers a storm. And then once that is in place and you have all the necessary functions, the plumbing, the electricity, you get to decorate it however you want. So of course you're still going to be you, but you're going to have this framework of being that results in the health that you want. So what does programming for wholeness look like? We are going to talk about more expansive beliefs than the ones I already outlined that really help your subconscious to understand that anything is possible moving forward. Life does not have to look the way it's looked up until now. It can change overnight. There's a lot of unlearning and relearning those core beliefs from a place of self-love and compassion rather than judgment and criticism. And instead of having influencers in your life that are coming from their own places of pain and dysregulation and fear, you want to seek out expanders who are already healed. They are where you want to be in the future on your own journey, and they can set an example for you of how to get there. So here are the kinds of thoughts that a whole person has, or a person who is a revolutionary self-healer. I trust my intuition to know what my body needs moment to moment. As I read these, I just want you to notice how it lands in your body. Does your brain immediately reject it? Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? Or can you just stay with the feeling through the resistance and soften into what it would feel like if I knew that this was true, if I believed that this was how the world and my body worked, that I can trust my intuition to know what my body needs moment to moment. It is my responsibility to support my healing. The body heals itself. I'm just here to support that process. Others have healed successfully, and their stories inspire me to do the same. I already have everything I need to heal. Investing in myself is an act of self-care. My most valuable contribution to my family is my presence and love. Others' opinions are none of my business. I am a role model. I choose to be a role model for self-care. I'm going to get out of this program what I believe I will get out of it. And I prioritize progress over perfection. I will show up in the way that feels aligned each day. Which of these hit you the hardest? You want to drop it in the chat. Either it hit you because you know that that's something you're really going to struggle with accepting, or it hits you because you felt it to your core that, yes, I know this can be true for me. Christina said definitely the last one. Good. Yes. This program is not pass or fail. Symptoms are not all or nothing in life. It's progress over perfection. Love that. So what feelings came up for you as you heard me read those? Thoughts like those lead us to experience more freedom in our body, the sensation of clarity, love, joy, peace, compassion, faith, groundedness, contentedness, and authenticity. The chemistry of these emotions in the body is conducive to healing. What actions spring naturally when we're in those emotional states? Well, we unfollow fear-mongering accounts on social media or in real life and follow those that inspire us or move us in some way. We cheer ourselves on and celebrate with others. We're not afraid to reintroduce favorite foods. We start attracting abundance in all areas of our life. It becomes easy to serve our families out of love, not out of need. We can allow ourselves to be misunderstood because we are so dialed into our own authenticity. We can savor rejuvenating rest. And overall, we trust the timing of our lives. We don't have deadlines or need to rush this healing process. We view every conflict and symptom that arises as a message, as a clue, as an opportunity to be overcome so that we can grow and expand. What is the result of moving and acting that way in our lives? You trust and support your body. Imagine this being your whole reality every day. You trust and support your body. Order freely off the restaurant menu. Play at the beach with your kids. Have an amazing sex life. Go on spa trips with friends. Travel to Europe and explore. Wake up energized. Keep a cozy home you're proud of, and seek mentors to keep growing. This is the reality you deserve. You perhaps, up until this point, just haven't been taught the correct programming that will help you create this. I'm going to be honest that surrendering to this process, trusting the timing of my life, it's really hard without faith in a higher power. I'm not going to tell you who or what that looks like for you. I know for some it's God, for some it's universe, for some it's nature. But needing to have some sort of belief system in place that there is a bigger meaning, purpose, and organization to the universe is very important, because otherwise this roller coaster of healing does feel random and chaotic. When we trust that there is a bigger plan, we are able to surrender to the flow and find our place in that. What does faith mean? This is like a triggering word for a lot of folks. The literal definition is connected to trusting the process without needing to have proof first. I am not talking about blind faith. You just got to believe. Here's what proof means. Proof means, Catherine, you need to cure me of my symptoms first, and then I'll go do all the things you tell me to do. It's like proof would be needing to buy a house that's already built. Evidence is more circumstantial. It's following the clues and interpreting their meaning in a way that aligns with what I want to believe. So that is looking at the house plans, signing a contract, and believing, having faith that the house will be built and I will move into it after a certain amount of time. And I have evidence because I've seen other houses be built. So why wouldn't building mine be any different? The other reason I'm not talking about blind faith, where you're not allowed to doubt anything, is because asking questions that challenge your limiting beliefs is good. I want you to speak up. If you're not sure how you feel about something, if you don't know if you believe that yet, if you're not sure how to believe that yet. And then I and the other coaches and your fellow members will help you challenge it. That thing that you believe, is it really true? Is it really true all the time? What happens when you have that thought? Who would you be without that thought? Having faith also means moving forward despite fear, courageously taking consistent action. We're not going to cure your fear before you move forward in the program. You're going to have the fear, you're going to acknowledge it, it's there to protect you, and you're going to keep doing the things that we teach you to do each step of the way. You have to believe it to see it. Because when you believe it before you can see it, suddenly that mindset shift allows you to see opportunities, solutions, and pathways that you might have otherwise overlooked. Okay, I never believed healing was possible before, but Catherine is saying believe it. And when I think about that being true, all of a sudden I notice doors that might open for me that I never saw before when I was so convinced that I could never heal. Faith also means having the resilience to get back up when you fall. Setbacks are normal and expected. They will happen to you. I can almost predict exactly when in the program they will happen. I'm not going to tell you when they are, but when you come to me in the chat, you tell us I'm having doubts, I'm feeling like I'm having to flare up again. Oh no, I don't know if this is working. I'm gonna be like, yep, this is the milestone where it usually happens to folks. Keep going. This too shall pass. Remember, reversing chronic symptoms is a side effect of feeling safe enough to live an aligned life as your authentic self. You have to do those other things first, feel safe, be authentic, live in alignment, and then the symptoms reverse themselves. Now, you don't have to wait until like the very, very end of this process to finally have relief. You're going to notice incremental relief along the way, but it's a side effect of doing this work. I'm going to pause here for a moment and open it up to questions, and then I'll close with the action step. Allow that to sink in. Are there any questions I can answer for you? Taryn said, allowing myself to be misunderstood is the hardest one. I actually encountered that yesterday on my Instagram, if you follow me. I was receiving some pushback on some of my posts, people who clearly did not agree with the message that I was sharing. And it triggers in me this feeling of being misunderstood. Not when they don't agree with my message, but when they tell me that the fact that they disagree with my message must mean something about my character as a person, that I'm greedy or a scam artist, or, you know, not really there to be philanthropic or serve people who are hurting and in need of help healing. And I can see in myself that limiting belief gets triggered, and I can be a bit reactionary, and I speak up and get a little defensive. Because I feel threatened in some way. My goodness is being called into question. And those are the moments when we have to lean even deeper into knowing who we are, what we stand for, and understand that other people's opinions of us are a reflection of their own pain. And keep showing up. Even when it feels like no one understands us, because eventually the right people will see us, get us, be drawn to us. And that's a really beautiful thing that happens. So let me share, if you guys have any other questions, drop them in the chat. I want to share the action step that comes with this lesson. In the past, when I've taught about limiting beliefs, I would have folks fill out this long questionnaire to help them identify, you know, areas where they may need to expand their mindset. And the problem with that is people answer the questions and they told me their beliefs, and I was like, okay, now notice which ones are limiting, and they couldn't see what was limiting because they believed it was true. You know, it takes reflecting with someone else at times to see our blind spots or to learn that we can think differently about something. So the circuit breaker is the brain retraining tool that we teach you in this course. We're going to add a little bit to it each week and each month. But the first step is when you have that fear pop into your brain on that list that I showed you, or something similar. This isn't going to work. I'm never going to heal. I'm too sick. I did this to myself. I'm angry. I resent the people that haven't cured me thus far, it's that just stop. Stop the story, stop the scroll, stop the spiral. If you have a symptom or sensation in your body, a twinge, a pain, an ache, and you start to go, here we go again, I'm never going to get better. Oh my gosh, what if this is the worst thing ever? And I'm going to, oh my gosh, stop the story, stop the scroll, stop the spiral. And you don't need to fix anything in that moment, but you do need to stop escalating it. You need to interrupt it. All it is like a hamster wheel in your brain. It's a habit. It's a well-worn path that has just been thought and felt over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And you have to stop it. You may find yourself in the beginning doing this 1,000 times an hour. You may wear a rubber band around your wrist and snap it every time you have the thought. Stop it. Stop it. There's no Bob Newhart skit that I show in my mastermind where this woman comes into his office, he's a psychiatrist, and she's like, and then I have this fear, this phobia, what if one day I'm buried alive? And he goes, okay, you want my advice? You want to write this down? Stop it. And we hear that and we laugh and we're like, oh, it's a little offensive, my mental health, my trauma, blah, blah, blah. Stop it. That isn't going to get you where you want to go. It's like you've gotten on a train and you're going, and you look up and you realize that isn't the city you meant to go to. You wanted to go to the other city. And you think to yourself, oh my gosh, it's going to be such a pain. I'm going to have to get off at the next stop. I'm going to have to cross to the other platform, wait for a new train and head back in the other direction. But would you rather do that as soon as possible so you can get where you're trying to go? Or are you just going to sit on that train and be like, well, I'm here. May as well just keep going, and you ride it till the end of the line and you're out of town where you know no one and you're stuck there overnight. So many of us do that though, because we haven't yet mustered the courage to stop this thing that's in motion, get off the track, turn around, and start moving and gaining the momentum in the direction that we want to go. So when we are together in the chat, I'm going to help you notice when there are thoughts that just need to stop. Instead of talking about our symptoms or flare-ups or diagnosis, we talk about them as signs of healing. We talk about them as messages. They're here for us to learn from, not to suffer from. So, what will help you be aware of your thoughts that are wired not to help you heal, but to keep you stuck in a state of fear? Ask those close to you in your life that you love and trust. Hey, partner, friend, parent, when you notice me talking this way, I give you permission to tell me stop. Lovingly remind me to interrupt this pattern stuck in my brain. Okay? All right. When we come back this week, our next class, I'm going to lead you through a somatic exercise that is going to help you in your body process this fear. So not just your thoughts, because our nervous system plays a role as well. And we're just going to keep adding bit by bit to that circuit breaker until you have a full tool under your belt that you can use anytime. All right. I'll see you guys later this week.